Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, I'm Claudia.
And we're your JCB morning broadcast team. Today for lunch we're having chicken tenders or grilled cheese. Today's rotations are red 1.
Please stand and join Mr. Bess's class for the Pledge and School Promise.
Put it in that hand. Put it in that hand. This other hand. Hand up. Don't hold this up to your mouth. Hold it out. Hold it out here. Go. Must stand by the chairs. Keep going. Get over. Get over. Stop. Oh, you got them backwards. That's good. Just hold yours up first. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, indivisible. Today I'll do more than I have to do. I'll treat others the way I want to be treated, and I will become a better person. Hey guys, I'm Math Wizard Vicente.
And I'm Math Wizard Eva.
And we are happy to announce a new name today. In 4th grade, going on the multiplication wall, Jocelyn Katie. And we can't wait to see you wearing your medallion today. Hey Ava, did you know that today is World Read Aloud Day?
Yes, did you know there's math books you can read, like Chicka Chicka 1, 2, 3?
The M&M's counting book.
The Cheerios counting book.
And 5 monkeys jumping on the bed.
These books can help you in math and in reading and be entertaining.
Maybe by reading these books, you can become a math wizard soon.
Today's high will be 68, and today's low will be 49.
the sun rose. The sun rose.
The sun rose is 7:10. The sunset is 6:14.
Students, please join your teachers in a moment of silence. Thank you. Our fundraiser is finished. Those of you who still need to turn in that envelope, make sure you get that turned in. Huey Newton was the founder of the Black Panther Party, was born on this day in 1942. Celebrating a birthday today on the 16th of February, Alan in Mr. Rodriguez's room, Kaylee in Miss Burgos' room, Carson in Mr. Moss's kindergarten, and Addison in Miss DeArmond's room. Also celebrating a birthday today, our very own assistant principal, Miss Smith. So make sure when you see her today, you wish her a happy birthday. Stay tuned for our very first read instead of waiting until 8:30.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Claudia.
Have a thrilling Thursday. Bye.
So, Miss Hager got called away to a meeting at the last minute. So your reader this morning gets to be Miss Brown. I'm going to read Bubba the Cowboy Prince, A Fractured Fairy Tale. Just a quick reminder, there are some words in here that are pretty country, and I'm going to read those a little bit with a Texas twang. It's going to be hard to read the book, show the pictures, and turn the page. Once a strapping young feller named Bubba lived on a ranch with his wicked stepdaddy and his hateful and lazy stepbrothers. Do you know which one it sounds like already? Dwayne and Milton. Bubba's stepdaddy spoiled Dwayne and Milton to no end, but Bubba worked from sunup to sundown doing the chores of the three ranch hands. But he never complained, though, because he loved ranching. Dwayne and Milton spent their days sitting on horseback, bossing Bubba around. "Get them doggies along here, Bubba," ordered Dwayne. "Yeah, and watch out for them cow patties," said Milton. "You know how Daddy hates for you to track those up on in the house." Now, Miss Lorene, who lived down the road a piece, was the purtiest and richest gal in the country. She owned the biggest spread west of the Brazos, and she loved ranching too. But it was lonesome work, and after a while she decided it was time for some companionship. "I aim to find myself a feller," she said, "one who loves ranching as much as I do. And it wouldn't hurt if he was cute as a cow's ear either." Ms. Lorene decided to throw a ball, and she sent invitations to all the ranchers in Texas. Soon the day of the ball arrived. Milton and Dwayne spent all day getting gussied up in their finest duds. Bubba, who ran himself ragged, waiting on them. "Bubba," shouted Dwayne, "fetch my bolo tie." "Bubba," shouted Milton, "get my boots polished." "Bubba," shouted the wicked stepdaddy, "brush them horses and wash that wagon." By the time Dwayne and Milton had their wicked daddy and Daddy were ready to go, Bubba was exhausted. Still, he climbed into the wagon, and Bubba asked, "Can't you wait for me to get ready? I want to dance with Ms. Lorene." Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy hooted and hollered. "Why, you're sorrier than a steer in a stockyard," said Dwayne. "Can you imagine Ms. Lorene dancing with the likes of you?" said Milton. "Miss Lorene wouldn't even wipe the dirt clods off her boots with that raggedy old shirt of yours, and you smell more like cattle than the cattle do." Bubba took a look at himself, and it was true. He didn't have a decent shirt to wear. His boots were downright disgraceful, and he did smell a bit rough. Milton and Dwayne were right. Miss Lorene wouldn't dance with the likes of him. Bubba hung his head. He felt lower than a rattlesnake in a gully. Milton and Dwayne and their wicked daddy went on off to the ball. Bubba mounted his horse and headed for the pasture to check on the herd. The sky was getting darker than a black bull at midnight. It looked like a Texas thunderstorm was brewing. Bubba had just arrived at the cow pasture when a bolt of lightning struck, knocking him off his horse. Bubba was stunned for a moment, but when he picked himself up, he heard a voice. "Go to the ball, Bubba," the voice said. Bubba looked around. No one was there except for him and the cows. Now Bubba figured he'd bonked the bejeebers out of his bean, 'cause the voice was coming from a cow. She chewed her cud for a moment and then said, "I'm your fairy god cow, and I can help you go to the ball." Bubba sat there rubbing his head. "I'd like to go, Miss God Cow, but shoot, I don't have a thing to wear." The fairy god cow swished her tail, and Bubba's raggedy clothes changed into the handsome cowboy duds he had never laid his eyes on. His jeans were crisp, his boots were shiny, his shirt was dazzling, and his Stetson was whiter than a new salt lick. "Why, I look downright purty," said Bubba. The fairy god cow swished her tail again, and a nearby steer turned into the most beautiful white stallion Bubba had ever seen. "Now you go off to the ball, Bubba, and have a good time dancing with Miss Lorene. And you'd best be home by midnight, 'cause that's when the magic runs out." "Yahoo!" shouted Bubba as he jumped on the white horse and galloped off to the ball. When Bubba arrived, the hoedown was in full swing, but every time Miss Lorene finished a dance, she yawned. "There goes another $10 Stetson on a 5-cent head," she complained. "Where are all the real cowboys?" But by the time it was Bubba's turn to dance with Miss Lorene, it was almost midnight. Soon as she saw Bubba, Miss Lorene's eyes lit up. "Why, you're just as cute as a cow's ear," she said. Bubba blushed, then took Miss Lorene into his arms and started dancing. Dwayne and Milton turned purple with jealousy. "Who is this dude?" said Dwayne. "I don't recollect seeing him before, but he looks a mite familiar," said Milton. "Do something," said their wicked daddy. "That cowboy is winning Miss Lorene's heart." As it turned out, Milton and Dwayne didn't have to do a thing because Bubba and Miss Lorene were in the middle of a do-si-do when the clock struck midnight. Suddenly, Bubba's fine duds turned into dirty rags, that ones that he usually wore around the ranch. He looked sorry, and he smelled even worse. "What is that awful smell?" asked Milton. "Why, it's Bubba!" shouted Dwayne. Bubba turned 14 shades of red, apologized to Miss Lorene, and ran out of the room. "Wait!" she yelled, chasing after him. But Bubba didn't wait. He jumped on his cow and lumbered off into the night. In the ruckus, he lost one of his dirty old cowboy boots. Miss Lorene clasped it in her arms. "This is the boot of a real cowboy and the man I want to marry, and I aim to find him." Miss Lorene went back inside, and though she asked everybody at the ball, nobody knew who the mysterious cowboy was, except for Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy, that is. But they weren't talking. The next day, Miss Lorene went from ranch to ranch looking for the cowboy who owned the boot. When she came to Dwayne and Milton's ranch, both brothers tried on the boot, but it didn't fit. Miss Lorene had just climbed up on her horse to leave when Bubba rode up. He was dirty and sweaty and smelly from working those cows, and he was only wearing one boot. Miss Lorene jumped off her horse and ran over to Bubba. "Try this on," she cried. Bubba took his dirty old boot and pulled it on. "Much obliged, ma'am," he said, blushing. It fit perfectly. "You're my prince in cowboy boots," shouted Miss Lorene. "I'd recognize that smell anywhere. Marry me, cowboy, and help me work my ranch." Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy threw all kinds of chicken fits. But Bubba just smiled, and he and Miss Lorene rode off into the sunset. They lived happily ever after, roping and cowpoking and getting along with them doggies. Be sure to tune in at 11:30 for your next read aloud from Miss Smith.